Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, with me, Gretta Chamberlain, and the Realm of Beings. Shifting Impressions, which is one of the vehicles that supports the transmission of the Realm of Beings, is here to assist you in delving into your being by providing numerous topics and discussions for you to intake as you deepen your connection with your inner world. Shifting Impressions is here to assist you in strengthening yourself as you excavate to understand your true nature. Join us today and learn to shift your mindset, shift your thoughts, and shift your focus to recreate your life and produce a new you. Shifting Impressions starts now. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where in the world you are located. We recognize that our constituents come from various countries, not only the United States of America. So Kathy and I are here today. Carol will not be with us, but we decided to change our topic for today and deal with somewhat of a challenge that many people are being confronted with. Today, I've had in previous days, because by the time you see this, it will be on Friday. We would have taped it earlier. So people have been calling me frustrated, close to tears, trying to figure out what the heck happened and so forth. And it's dealing with the election. So the title of our piece today is Harris versus Trump, or you can even say Trump versus Harris. It doesn't mean whoever comes first. We put it in alphabetical order. And the lesson is a lesson in peace. And you're going to see why we chose that for today. The quote from the realm is, peace is eternal at every moment when you seek it. All is well, all is good. There is only the presence of the force at every moment of existence. So that is the quote that they're going to be bringing forth to you. And so this whole podcast today is about let's bring peace inside ourselves internally. And we're going to talk about why that is so important, so very important. Okay, Kathy, I'm going to turn it over to you. See what you want to say about that.
Let's see, why would you want to give me the hard part first? Because, look, I want to say I am only human, but I'm going to say peace is very important right now for, I would say for humanity across this entire planet with everything that we are collectively creating and supporting. I guess it's the best way of saying that. Would I be correct, Greta?
Absolutely.
And this is a hard pill for a lot of us to swallow, and we're trying to understand and how do we manage the array or the emotions that are welling up inside of us. There's some people that are just jumping for joy, and there are others that are not jumping for joy. There are others that are fearful, very anxious, because they don't have the knowledge or the knowingness that you create your own reality, and you don't have to really be affected by any probabilities or anything that we might see coming down the pike or down the road, because it's only a probability, and it's probably going to be a good lesson, I should say, for all of us to learn, to practice.
I
uh,
agree.
peace,
Hmm.
internal peace with all of it, within ourselves, because that's the only way we're going
Absolutely.
to have it. If everyone is practicing peace and seeking it, then nothing's
Hmm.
going to bother you. Because if everyone is seeking peace, the only challenge, though, Greta, is there are a whole lot of people. How do they interpret what peace is? What kind of peace are they seeking? Because some people, peace is following whatever that mandate is that this person wants to put forth, this probable thing in 2025. So to them, that might bring peace. How do we handle that?
Well, we're going to look at, I think the very important thing that you said, Kathy, is that everybody is creating their own reality. And what I'd like to say is about a collective. There is a collective here. And the collective that is present here is that people who either live in this country, even if they're not citizens yet, or they're applying for citizenship, and those people who are citizens of this country, we're in a collective. And the collective is Americans in America. That's the collective. Now, the collective for this election that we had uh, came into two sections because you had those, actually three sections, maybe even four, because you had people who wanted Trump to be the next president. You had the other group of people who wanted Kamala Harris to be president. You had another group of people who didn't want either one. And you had another group of people who were totally uh, unparticipatory in the whole thing. They just decided, I'm not going to deal with it, period. So we have four groups, basically, and maybe even more, inside this collective consciousness of Americans living in America, regardless of what ethnicity you belong to, regardless of whatever religion you belong to. However, what's important, and this is so important, and we've been teaching that, Kathy, since we started this podcast, and we're into our fourth year with the podcast now. And that the important thing is to love self, because you're going to create within this collective, you're going to create your own personal reality. See, the personal reality belongs to you. What are you going to experience here? What is your decision about what you personally want to experience? Because that's what's going to dictate what what you're going to do, how you're going to react to this new administration, you
Or
see.
old administration?
Right? It can be considered old. I would just more so say new, because I'll tell you why.
Yeah, I know why.
I'm not seeing it as, um, I'm seeing it as a new reality. It may appear as though it's the same reality from 2016 and on until 2020, but each reality is always changing. Look at the reality we had. The two candidates chose two different vice potential vice presidents. So that's a change of the reality there. If we just want to look at Trump, Trump did not say to Pence, I want you to be my running mate. He asked J.D. Vance. So by putting J.D. Vance into combining J.D. Vance's personal reality with Trump's personal reality, that's a whole different reality. So that's why I'm saying It's not old. It's different. It's a new one.
I guess for me, when I say think of old, I'm thinking of it as a retired history, educator. It's like it's a circle, and it's like, it's like it's like looping, like you said before. It's like it's looping. We are looping in and out of this. Seems like almost the same type of reality. Like at the turn of the, like Plessy versus Ferguson, 1896. It's like the same kind of feeling, and yet you had the Jim Crow and you had all of the same other things. You had enslavement prior to that. It's like the same low vibrational energy keeps creeping up, and the same realities. Maybe different generations are
And that creates
experiencing
a different reality,
creates
Kathy.
a different reality. But
Yeah.
when you look at it through the lens of as well, the way humans do through history, through time, which doesn't exist, it's just cyclical. It's just you think it's gone and it's back. It might it might wobble a little bit, but it's always the same. It's the same stuff, and it's like as a species we can never get through anything.
Yes, we can. We can get through everything. We have to, but see, that's a personal. You
Yeah,
have to personally know that within your own internal experience that you're getting through this and through this whole situation. And, I want to say to the audience, and I know we're speaking to people that live outside of this country as well, because the podcast is worldwide. So what is happening here is that one of my spiritual mothers said to me, she said, never go back, never go back. And that's for anything. Some of us, I know myself, before I heard her say that to me, I went back to my second husband, which was the biggest mistake I could possibly have made, you know. Um, because when you go back, that means you have not learned the lesson yet. So we're back because we have not, as a collective group. It may appear differently. See, that's the appearance of it. That's the illusion of it as well, you know. But those realities, even when I said to you that it's a different reality, which it is because some of the players are different. The players can be different in a reality, but that doesn't mean the lesson has changed. So here is a lesson. We did not learn, it's obvious. We did not learn the lesson the first time around, so we're repeating it again. And so when you look at it, I'm going to put it into a quote. It's this is an opportunity for growth. See this as an opportunity for growth for each of you personally, because we can't control the creation of reality that anybody else wants to have. The only person, the only realities that we can control is ourselves. And when we seek the peace, two things that help to get through anything that you are disgruntled about, that is to love self and to be in a state of peace and ease. If you're in a state that's conflictual within you, if you are angry about something, if you are weeping and wailing over something, how did this happen? You know, um, then it's not going to move with ease for you. You see, we can be in a burning building, but that doesn't mean we're going to die there. We can get out. We can choose to get out. And I'm not talking about moving out of this country. I'm talking about looking at the greatness of this country and working our internal powers to create the powers, the things that we want to see outside. See, people, and I'm going to turn it back over to you, Kathy, because I can feel your brain just turning around. I just feel that.
I
You
know
know,
you do.
people are thinking that some people that, like you said earlier, this is the worst thing going, you see. And then where other people, like you said, are going, yay. You see what I'm saying to you? So it's from each person has their own perspective about what is going on. But the thing is, and the bottom line of it's for everybody, for or against the candidates, is to love self at all costs, love self. And it's not a cost either. Let me get rid of that. It's because we have that. That's innate within us is to love ourselves. All we have to do is practice it.
Yeah, but there's enough of, one of her, well, the slogan of Kamala was, we're not going back. And enough people said that we're not going back. So it's going to be very interesting to see how all the people that supported her said, we're not going back, um, create not to go back. It is a personal creation of reality, but I see it also being folded into another type of collective creation as well. It's like it's like you have one collective over here and another collective over here, and I don't mean to separate them, but I'm just doing it for simplicity's sake, just to make my point. Um, it's going to depend on the energy, but you can do it in a peaceful way. But the other thing is, even though we had Jim Crow, even though there has been genocide in this country against First Nation people, and just discrimination against basically any immigrant population that came into this country, we're still here, and
Mhm.
we still learned how to work around it. And no, it wasn't pleasant. It's not pleasant when you look at and know the fact that the 13th Amendment abolishing slavery didn't really end until like 2001 or something like that with Mississippi. I mean, you can't even get an anti-lynching law passed. I think it's still open on the books. You can still be lynched. So, it's just interesting when we look at uh, the looping that this country continuously goes through again and again, and how that energy just keeps like, it's like pop goes the weasel. It's like the dun 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 dun, and then you know it's going to come up. You know it's going to jump up because someone's going to create for it. That's just how it seems to me, and it scares you every time it comes up, and it's scaring you knowing it's going to pop up. But you have to learn how to push it back down. And to use that as a metaphor, a kind of crazy, scary metaphor, because this thing just scared the dickens out of me as a kid. Um, it's like just don't have any fear.
Absolutely. 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 Can you expound on that a little bit, please?
Well,
Why?
because fear, you get what you fear, and like didn't matter how many times people, oh, I'm so worried he's gonna win. Stop giving that energy, because you saw the shift in energy at work. I mean, he was when he's resonating down here, hate, fear, and when Kamala came in with joy, everybody was lifted up. But then he said, "Wait a minute, I don't want that. I need you to come back down here with me." So what happens? They start the low vibrational attacks on other ethnic groups like Haitians and stuff like that, and everybody got they just brought it back down. They brought it back down, and they started saying hate, 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 and then all of a sudden the polls started changing again because you get what you fear, and you
Mhm.
created that fear. and you gave it that energy to him, and he that they knew that, and so that's why the momentum changed, and then then you have other people supporting that. You had
Absolutely.
the major news people supporting that, but everybody's pointing fingers at it's your fault that you did this. It's your fault. Well, you want to point a finger, just point it back at yourself because everyone. If you worried about him getting in, you're responsible for him being there. You should have seen the person sitting in the Oval Office. And I know it's hard when you're watching everything happening and unfolding imagine how we feel or I felt, and I know we create our own reality. I felt the shift. I felt the shift when she jumped in, and felt it when you know he snatched it back down, his defeat from the jaws of death. So I mean, it's like
You
we
know,
have to roll with it.
right, because you know how I felt, and people were calling me. I felt very calm and peaceful about this entire thing. And not worrying about it. I'm accepting that this is a choice that certain people made, and it's okay. See, we have to get to the point it's okay that this has happened. What we want to do is, what is going to be my participatory part in this new reality? I have a choice. I can go into the reality with anger and judgment and blame, like you said, people starting to blame each other. I can go into that, or I can decide that internally I'm reaching into my being where I'm the force and I am being quiet, I am being reflective, I am being peaceful and moving through this with ease. And regardless of what happens with it, because they're going to be I'm waiting to see the interesting things that are going to happen. And if people are going to actualize
Their
Project
fears,
2025.
their fears.
Right. See, some people I feel are, and this is just psychic feelings, are already afraid of being deported,
Yep.
you see. And nobody can come and deport you. See, this is why this whole thing is a great lesson, Kathy. It's a great opportunity and growth. It's a great opportunity to know I create my own reality. You can't deport me unless I want to be deported. See, that's the issue. It's like you can't fire me unless I create to be fired. I got to create that. People call me and say, I got fired today. I said, oh, how interesting. Why did you fire yourself? Because that's what's happening. I don't, nobody has to be deported, really. I don't care what they put on the books.
Just
Nobody
like
can do
those,
that.
right. It's just like all the doctors that refuse to handle these women having these miscarriages and they're dying. I mean, the women have decided, if you want to look at creation and reality, that's the way they wanted to go. As hard as that might be for people to accept. But at the same time, those doctors didn't have to create to go along with that, but they created to support the person, the female that wanted to experience that. They had
Absolutely.
to worry about it, but the challenge for the audience is they go, what are they talking about? Are you saying that person decided they wanted to die like that? And basically, yeah, that is what we're saying, but it doesn't have to be that way. You don't Those doctors, those women could have said, I'm going to be treated, because those that wanted left the state, and those doctors didn't have to accept that or fear being locked up. See, their fear also supported them and supporting the fears of those women. And they have to live with knowing they decided that they wanted to experience what is it like for me to be a person that's supposed to save a life. I know I can save this person's life. I see them crashing and dying. I see this. I see what's happening. However, I'm afraid for myself. I'm afraid for my medical license. I'm afraid I'm going to get locked up. But what would happen if all them doctors said, F you and that law? I'm going to do it anyway. And now come and get me. How would that have happened if they had created that reality? That it doesn't matter that that's what you say.
Well,
I'm going
see,
to
you
create
said
the
the part
reality.
"come and get me," so they would have come and got
Oh
him.
well, I don't mean come and get, but you know what I'm trying to say. Just quietly treat the women. Nobody had to know. And if they're in the hospital, say I'm a doctor, and talk. Just go. I'm a doctor. I'm saving a life. Oh, just write it. The person of the life. All you say, life in danger. How do you? Oh, now, so now you're going to challenge my medical degree? This woman's life was in danger, so I performed the surgery. I performed the procedure. They decided to wait. It's got a heartbeat. Oh, it's got a heartbeat. We can't do anything. We got to watch him die. And that's what they did. They sat there and watched. But the women were like, oh my God, oh my God. They support, create support. But for the audience out there, it's I can see where it's challenging because it was challenging for me on my journey learning that I create my own reality. And I'm
Mhm.
still and that means if he's there, I supported that creation of reality. To be truthful, we all did. If he's sitting down at Pennsylvania Avenue in a diaper in January, we because he's there, we all kind of supported him being there some way or some form of fashion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what's part of the collective, that we also move as a group. But inside there, we also move.
Independently.
Yes, yes, yes. You know, and I want to reiterate what you said, Kathy, about fear with the audience. And that is that when you're afraid of something, you have fear of something. That energy is so strong that it will create the very thing for you to experience that you are afraid of.
And that's why the lesson now is peace within yourself. Because now it's
Absolutely.
becoming a little clearer to me of why the realm gave us that quote. Because if we don't practice peace internally within ourselves, uh, you look at what you create
Hmm.
for yourself. Look at what you can. Look at the probabilities.
Hmm.
And if
And
you
we
say,
need probably, Kathy, talk about what probabilities are because people might not really know what that
well,
is.
whenever a psychic gives, oh, this is a psychic makes a prediction, they're just dealing in probabilities. It's what could happen. But because you create your own reality, it doesn't mean you can change it. It doesn't have to be. Project 2025 doesn't have to be. They can have all the words written down. And they could look like Moses with a stick and go, let thee cast thee out. Boom. But, I'm expelling you. It doesn't really matter. If the people that they're trying to target say, well, I'm not going anywhere and I'm staying. In other words, if they create not to be picked up or deported, it's not going to happen because it's a probability.
Right.
And as long as everyone creates their own reality, those that it's like a runaway slave person. Those that worried about getting caught got caught. Those that said, I'm not going back, guess what? They didn't go back. And how do you know that? Because they told you their stories. And when you read their own words, it says that. And on that note, I'm going to say this it's time for our break.
Okay. Go ahead, Kathy. Send us into the break.
Break. Well, we are back. I should say I am back, and the realm is here with us right now. And I know that the realm is here. Realm, are you here?
Yes, yes, we are here, all
I
of
don't even.
us in great presence.
I don't know why we always ask that question because you're always here. It's not like you're saying you never get an answer. Uh, but in any event, the quote today, because everybody's all in an uproar. They've torn
Oh,
they've
yes.
torn their drawers over this election. Harris versus Trump, a lesson in peace. And the quote that you gave us today is: "Peace is eternal at every moment when you seek it. All is well, all is good. There's only the presence of the force at every moment of existence."
Hmm.
And just going to let you just talk, realm, because I think people just need to really understand that they don't need to fear or worry about anyone being able to do anything to them or harm them in any way, because no one can harm you unless you allow it. And that's why peace is very important. So I'm going to let you take it away, Realm.
Yes, and could you read that last sentence for us again?
The
Oh,
last
my
sentence
book.
says, there is only the presence of the force at every moment of existence.
Now that is why there is peace, because you can't, you don't, because you see the force separate from yourselves. You see what I'm talking about, Kathleen?
Yes.
You see the force separate from yourselves. But as you see it separate, you can't just put your hand out and say, hold my hand. You're not, because you can't think that that's possible. Because you have placed that what you call God, or however you define it, like in Islam there are 99 names for God. So however you define it, you still see it separate from yourselves. So that is one of the contributing factors of seeing peace separate from yourselves. Because people are always on your planet praying for peace in some way or another, singing songs in church, or in a synagogue, or in a mosque, or in a temple, singing about peace, you see. So you see the force as external. Consequently, you see peace as external, you see. So now read our first sentence for us, Kathleen, in that
Yes. The
quote.
first sentence is: peace is internal at every moment when you seek it.
Aha. Now, you see that last part of our sentence. When you seek it. You see, if you're feeling yourself in fear, you cannot seek peace because you're so concentrating on being afraid. See, you must seek it. And where is it located? In
Within
turn, right. Come on with it, Kathleen. Let's hear that word.
and within. And the same thing with anger. If you're angry, you won't find peace either, because you're too wrapped up and caught up in whatever low vibrational feeling you have right now.
Absolutely. So, what you want to practice for anyone who is going down into what we call the valley of condition, or going down into the rabbit hole with Alice and sipping tea, don't stay there with her because she can't help you. The only person that can help you through this situation is yourselves, each one individually. Each one individually. So when each one of you sees peace inside yourself, if you see peace, Kathleen, then Greta sees peace, and Carolyn sees peace, and Moxie sees peace. Look how peace is getting bigger and stronger, you see.
I reverberate.
And when we say seeing it, we're going to take it into knowing it. It's not just a seeing with your eyes, it's a seeing with your spirits. It's to know that the peace is there. All you have to do is seek it. It is always there because the force itself is peace. It is everything. It is all the confusion, mayhem, and anything else that was experienced during this whole uh, interesting episode. So everything is there, but the bottom line that peace is going to be dominant. Peace is dominant inside your internal being, but you have to go inside to do that, not staying outside of yourself, going inside of yourselves to see it, to know
Can
it.
you remind us again how to do that, Realm?
You can do it in several ways, Kathleen. One way is that you can sit and meditate, you know, and we're not talking about meditating that you sit down or you lay down and then you're saying, I'm meditating, and 5 minutes later you're asleep. We're not talking about that kind of meditation. We're talking about you at least sitting up in a chair, at least. Because not everybody can get into that yoga position, you know, and hold your fingers the way you do. But you can sit in a chair and meditate and see, displace as you creatively, visually look at it. Look at the election. Look at the people that participated in it on both sides. And in that looking, see yourself in the middle of the looking and imagine rose energy coming out of your body. Because rose energy is the deep energy of unconditional love and unconditional love of self. So we're saying sit, see yourself, see Trump, see Harris, see everybody over there. Be in the middle and extend out from yourself rose energy, sending out that which is internal to everyone. You see, that's one way through a meditation we're giving you. The other way is to, if you're upset and you're angry, you, Kathleen, and Greta and Carol have given out one of our things, which is the QDR, quick displace replace. And that goes, I am experiencing, releasing all emotions and thoughts that support me in creating and maintaining feeling anger over the election results. I love myself unconditionally. Or you can even say, if you feel angry, you're happy that the other candidate won, but your female candidate, Kamala, you didn't like her. So you want to release that as well. You see, there's needs to be release on both sides because both sides are carrying anger,
Mm.
you see. Both sides are carrying anger. And some people have said, we've heard it, that Trump is God. We find that quite fascinating because, in actuality, the force created that which you call God. and each one of us is the force, including Trump, including Harris, and including everybody that is here on this planet is the force. We are representations of it. We are aspects of it, but that doesn't move us from it. We are it, you see. So, and then the next step is unconditional love. When you have unconditional love of everyone that's been concerned with this uh, challenge, you see, unconditional love, then you're going to stop blaming. You can't blame somebody for what happened. You're going to stop judging. This man is crazy. This woman doesn't know what she's doing. That's all judgment. You want to release yourselves from blame. You want to release yourselves from judgment. You want to bring yourself into a state of peace, which is a state of neutrality. That you have sought peace in yourself. When you seek peace in yourself, you're not going to find yourself getting angry with anybody. You're not going to find yourself wanting to blame one group against another group. And anybody at this point who's blaming themselves, whatever you're saying about the other group, you're talking about yourself. Because that is the only way you can see it. You can't say that this person over here is ignorant. I mean, you can say it, but the big thing about that, when we hear it, we've got to know that the only person you're talking about is yourself, you see. So you want to be aware of defining yourselves by trying to define others. Because when you try to define others and it's in a negative light, you are defining others through a state of fear. And you're defining them in that negative light, showing all the negative things that you feel about yourself. You see. Kathleen, I feel you have a question or a statement.
I have a question, and I'm just hoping, well, not hoping, I'm creating that I can um, phrase it in such a way that um, it will contribute. Because I thought of something when you talk about they see Trump as God. What I thought was interesting is they separated him from themselves. They saw him as God, but not themselves as God.
Absolutely.
And to me, I thought that's where you were going to go with that, because I am a divine being. And you said, remember that you are a divine being who creates your personal reality at all times. You never stop creating. You create into infinity as you explore all aspects of your being. You are the force and are one with all of creation. Therefore, practice your divinity at every moment of your life, and that's important. Appreciate and love yourself unconditionally, and understand that you are one with everything that is in existence, and there is no separation, only oneness. And I've seen that so many times, and I won't pretend that I memorize it, because I just, something, well, I created to have that in front of me when this session started, because I thought it was very important, realm, that um, that everyone understand that you call that remembrance. And
Mhm.
it's important that we remember, and just the way you have the red and the blue, everything in this country is just separate. Everything is just so separate all the time. The blue states, the red states, we deliberately separate ourselves. Then we wonder why we have a challenge. We wonder why we have the looping.
But guess
Um,
what,
you know,
Kathleen?
you,
When
what?
you're doing that separation, what do you think is the root of the separation? Fear.
I'm stumped with that one. It might take fear. Okay.
It's fear.
Yes, fear is the
Fear,
other fear.
fear
It's always
dictates
fear.
the separation, you see. So, but we wanted to get that across, but please continue what you were saying.
Well, basically, it's just that when we analyze what we are experiencing now, our emotions over the choices that the people in this country made, this side versus that side, it's sort of like what else did you expect? Because had it gone the other way, then the opposite would be true. They'd be storming the White House again, the Capitol again. It was like, it almost seems, when I think about it, what's coming to me now is a sort of like a no-win situation. And that's the lesson we haven't learned, because we don't see ourselves as one, and we don't walk and seek peace within ourselves so we can let it reverberate with everyone else around us. Then it's like doing the same thing over and over again and trying to get a different result. Everything is going to keep being the same. And so even being angry at it isn't going to solve it, isn't going to make a difference. It's just not going to change it. So that's why, another reason why your quote about be the peace that you seek is very important right now. And I'm creating that, the audience is getting that, and I'm creating that this podcast is going to really reverberate uh, across not only this country but across this planet, because there's a global shift going back and forth. I mean, it's like we're all, it's a fear, it's just fear and anger, and the othering of people, that is,
Mhm.
and the separation, and forgetting that we are all divine beings, and we are all worthy of respect and 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 unconditional love.
Absolutely. And with that, when you say we're all due to have that, but the first thing before each individual can have it like that, it must, they must have it
Within them,
within.
within themselves at first.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well,
Absolutely.
this is deep.
That is one reason why we gave the affirmation, and that you all, when you go to expos and so forth, you give it to everyone. And the quote is, the affirmation is, it's 7 lines long. We love ourselves unconditionally. We forgive unconditionally. We love ourselves unconditionally. We feel ourselves loving ourselves unconditionally. We forgive unconditionally. We thank you. We thank you. If you see Mr. Trump as being the person that's providing you a lesson, then what you're going to say to him is thank you. Thank you for assisting me in learning my lesson. Because, see, here we go again. Oops, there it is, you see. Oops, there it is. We were not finished. So we had to do it again. Looping, do it again.
When are we going to stop looping? Oh, I'm so sick. Because for me, realm, I know there is no time, but it's like I was born at the end of a horrific era in American history, the end of the Jim Crow. And, when people talk about Russians, the only Russians I ever thought about was my family rushing up north to get here, to get away from what was happening down south. So we're really Russians. That's how I always saw my family, Russians.
But see the world. Look at the world. Look how people are going through genocide in various other parts of this world.
Yep,
Think of people in Africa, a tribe fighting another tribe, creating genocide for another tribe. And they look the same color.
yep,
They're really the same people.
yep.
But because I'm tribe A, I'm going to destroy you as tribe B for power, you see.
The illusion of power. And that's really what it's
Absolutely.
always about. It's always about the illusion of power and fear of the who. If I don't wield the power, they're gonna stomp and roll all over me.
And see,
And
and that's a
then,
big illusion because you can't have power over anybody.
right, because I create my own reality and I can decide, eh,
Absolutely. That's
it's
why everybody here that's listening to our podcast, move again without fear. Move without it. They can't control you unless you want to be controlled.
that is that now that realm that bangs the nail right on the head for me. They can't move you unless you want to be moved. They can't deport you unless you want to be deported. They can't send the armed forces if you want to protest peacefully. Any decisions or whatever might probably whatever they might try to create. We don't have to really support that creation. We can create our because we all create our own realities. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you can do that, but if I want to march or do whatever I want to do peacefully, against whatever you think you might want to do to me or whatever, then it's not going to work. It's never going to work, and it's just the timeless will.
Absolutely.
And that's how humans keep moving forward. We get knocked around from side to side, but Greta said it perfectly the first half of the show. We never go back, and because we're not going back. It seems like we are, but we're not.
And guess what? To go
What?
back is to go to the past. And there is no past. There is only the now. There is no future. There is no past. There is only the now. We stay in the now. That
Could
is
you make
where
it?
we are.
Can you make a suggestion as to the audience how we stay in the now? Because
How we
they
stay in the now.
hear that all the time, but people don't really understand it.
It says you have to open up your mind to receive that concept. Because in with humans, regardless of what country you live in, regardless of what ethnicity you are, regardless of what religion you belong to, you think there's a past, you see. But there is no past. There's only the now, because everything is in the now. Everything. And when you go and you see Trump in his election in 2016, guess what? It is still in actuality
Yeah.
because the now is the compilation of everything that's in occurrence, everything that's in reality. But guess what? We say again, each one of you is in control, but you're only in control of yourself, not others.
Wow. And on that note, Realm, I'm going to ask you to step back and let Greta come forward again, please. Um, because I guess next week we're going to do Oh No, Not Me, what we were scheduled to do this week. Or I'm a bionic duo. I guess we'll decide after the show. But in any event, You can catch us and like us on Facebook, share. We're on all social media. Please go to TTR. And I see that we still have a couple of minutes left. And I guess, Greta, I will give you some closing remarks.
Hmm.
You have 1 minute.
I think the closing remark that I have based on people calling me today, um, I was looking at another podcast and he was talking about it, but I saw people, uh, giving in his chat some of the things. And one person said, God help us all. So that means that's an external thought. You think that what you call God is outside of you, when in actuality, that force, that energy is inside of you. Another one said, should I feel proud that I'm now a sucker and a loser?
Wow.
Never see yourself as such. Don't see yourself as a sucker and a loser because you are the force. Are you going to go up and say, Force, I think you're a sucker and a loser? Hecky no. So don't do that to yourself. Another one said, my poor renters, my poor tenants were in tears this morning as we cried together before I came to work. Why cry, weep, and wail? Continue to know that you are internal beings, that you love yourself. Be that. Be the divinity that you are. Express the divinity that you are. Don't sit around crying and weeping, is our suggestion to you. And one person said, be happy. I've been crying all day long. Don't cry for sadness. You can cry for joy or you can cry for sadness. It is your choice. But if you're crying for sadness, you're only giving more credence to the creation of realities that you will not want. So think and be happy. I don't know if you said this, Kathy, but I wrote it down. Uh, don't tune out, tune in to yourself.
That was not me. But on
Okay.
this note, we're going to all tune out because we have reached our limit. Until next time, plant you now and dig you later.
Once again, thanks for joining us at Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on TransformationTalkRadio.com. As you have explored today's creation of reality experience with the realm and me, Greta, each of you is being supported by us in further developing the understanding that you are not just an individual existing in linear time and space, but a multi-dimensional force of infinite possibilities who is connected to all. So begin to create the realities you want. Join us every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Shifting Impressions at TransformationTalkRadio.com. So long until we create each other again next Friday.